Ogre. I miss my Ogre. Baby, I love you. How are you doing, my man?
Man, it's funny because I was feeling the same way. I was like, where is Grady? You had your head to go under the sand for a while there. I watched your video. I understand why. I feel you. I need to kind of just step away sometimes and breathe too.
Yeah. Had to do that. It's so important. You know, the more I keep thinking about this issue with, I call it messaging, marketing, sales. It's not actually spending money. Okay. But the amount of time and attention and focus that's required for sales in a business or anything, okay, and messaging your product, getting the word out there, spreading the word, the same amount of importance and need for that, and effort and dedication and attention. It's just the same as the developers. All the time that the developers are spending to develop the game,
well,
that same amount of time is required to spread.
Should be put into marketing as well.
The word, yeah, and that careful time and attention and effort, and so,
well, and
especially in our case when there's so much FUD against from the past,
right? Well, I think in our case, we need to step it up. Right. We know the team's not great at that. That was never really their strong suit. They're great at many things, but just like every other human entity out there, even as a team, they have flaws. They're not perfect. We can identify it and we can fix it. I mean, you are good at advertising. I am good at, I don't care. I am planning on bringing this to ETH Denver and we are going to have some fun. Right. We'll go streaking down like the main venue or something wearing it and just causing a ruckus. Somebody bring a bullhorn.
Right.
Does anybody have like a Cricut machine? Make stickers.
Yes.
Right? If we make a bunch of QR codes and just put a bloater fish on it with a QR code to DFK, the website, and just slap them on all the light poles, right? Sides of buildings.
And that's the kind of thing that Bolin wants to do. So anyone who wants to go March 1st or 2nd through the 5th of we're going to be in Denver, ETH Denver, with Bolin. Risen Sun Bear is going to be there.
I will be getting there earlier. I'll be there on like the 27th probably.
Wow.
Okay. So I'll be there during the hackathon part.
Nice.
I would recommend, if y'all can, get there a day early or a day or two early, because last year the line to get your ticket was ridiculous. It was so long, like wrapped around a city block long, like several hours long. On the first day of the conference in that morning. I mean, the second, third day wasn't as bad. So if you're coming late, and I think it starts on the 1st. So if you're coming on the 2nd or 3rd, it probably won't be as bad.
Yeah.
But there's going to be a lot more people this year, and it's all volunteer led. So
don't we get our ticket online?
Yeah, baby. NF ticket.
Yeah. Did you do that?
Yeah. I already got mine.
Okay. And Tosh is going to be there?
Yeah. We definitely need to throw a party one night, like a DFK party.
Oh, man. I can't. And it was so good seeing Tosh last night on Bogside Chats, right? There are so many videos, adventures in DeFi Kingdoms. I mean, it was like yesterday, one video after another. It was like the Brown Gent. Okay. Awesome stream. Then About Life podcast. Awesome stream. Then Bogside Chats. Awesome stream. Then Adventures in DeFi Kingdoms with Raph, my man. And, Effects in the house, who's just big brains, awesome guy. It was like I couldn't even keep up. It was so awesome.
DeFi Kingdoms. It's almost like DeFi Kingdoms overload. And I think that also is part of our problem. Like we're feeding people from a fire hose. We don't have, like, if somebody wants to explore DeFi Kingdoms, there's a lot of basics they need to learn, right? They need to learn about questing. They need to learn about summoning. They need to learn about the tavern. They need to learn about LPs. They need to understand DeFi if they don't already understand DeFi. Right. And we are great as a community of coming up with like hour-long, 2-hour-long, 4-hour-long videos that talk about these things. But we don't have we really need like a series of like 4 or 5 20 to 30 minute videos that go through all of the basics and get somebody up to the point where they may not be an expert, obviously not in a few hours, but they're at least proficient and can make some basic choices. What up, KG? They can make some like KG is one of the guys that I'm talking about in the Slayer clan that I've into here recently. Great group of dudes. If y'all don't know, you should go check like the Slayer group out, and actually KG is with Undead Blocks, first person shooter on Ethereum, which
Okay, KG.
Immutable X. Yeah, KG's great.
Nice, baby.
Heck
I
yeah, I got to
love
meet
it.
him. He came to Nashville for an event we had.
Yes. Yeah. So I know like guys like the Mythic Squad, Mosh and Starbuck, okay, and Justice Beaver and Brown Gent. They're working on something. And I was maybe gonna help them. We'll see. And it's always been on my heart to have beginner series and maybe just have long live streams for beginners to come on and ask all the questions in the world. And because it literally takes months. So if someone wants to come in,
huge task
to like just imagine all the influx of players we're gonna hopefully have. You know,
we need this before ETH Denver.
What's
like
that?
You want to talk about marketing? Let's talk about marketing. Let's talk about strategy. We, the community, need to have this before ETH Denver. Then we need to point everybody to it. Just we can make it a general like DeFi Kingdoms beginners guide YouTube site, and maybe the QR code goes there, right? And then every video there has a link to DeFi Kingdoms to go play it.
Yeah.
But it's like just a beginner series that starts with why should you care about DeFi Kingdoms? What's cool about DeFi Kingdoms?
Right.
What is good about DeFi Kingdoms when you compare it to other projects? There's a lot to talk about. There's a lot we could talk about, but then go through and teach them the game in a series of short videos.
I love it. Is Fistful of Dollars? Is this Workhorse? Or is that looks like, I was wondering, that looks a lot like Workhorse. Anyways, I know it's so
that from PFP.
Oh, I'm not sure. Fistful of Dollars. This guy.
That's kind of funny.
It looks like him. Okay. Anyways.
That'd be funny if it was him.
Yeah. So to just imagine when, you know, let's just say PvP's out and stuff, and then PvE and there's crafting, who knows, just all these different things. And then someone like just getting into the game now is going to take like months to wrap your mind.
I don't see. And that scares people away when people hear you say that. I don't think it really does, right? That's something that I liked the Unity Guild was doing.
Master.
They were focusing on educating people, and to where, I mean, you can get in, and I've brought some people in and helped start introducing them. Like, I can't teach them everything because there's so much. Like, we start talking about heroes and questing, but then it spins off into summoning and heroes and abilities, and
right.
Like you go down so many rabbit holes. It's so hard to teach the basics without getting lost in those rabbit holes.
Yeah, and so for someone to really, who's going to be able to come in and compete for combat PvP, they're going to really need to get to know the ins and outs, the genetics of the heroes. I mean, it takes a while.
I mean, you see, that's the thing, though, and that comes back to the speculation or the gamification of speculation.
Okay.
Right? We have no idea. Like, you or I, or maybe we could build our own game 3 years from now, which spins all these traits on their heads, and it just goes back to the basic 1 through 12 and advanced 1 through 6, and we can make it whatever we want, right? It's an NFT with digital values in essentially metadata places. Some of those things might be locked into the game, but they're doing their best to put it all onto the characters themselves. And I think as they're building out the game, this is the gamification, right? Like, trying to craft out the best hero, and we have no idea what the best hero looks like yet, but we're trying to build it. Damn it!
I know
the possibilities, trying to make it as cool as possible. And I mean, there's some things that we definitely know. Transcendent is better than basic. Always mythic is better than common, right? But that's people are trying to find those combinations and trying to. I mean, it's a strategy game, right? So you're reverse engineering the game and the information you're being fed, trying to figure out something before everybody else figures it out to give you a slight advantage. And a lot of people, that's the gamification of the speculation, right? Because the way they've built the beginning of this game, we can do that right now, right? I mean, there's like 3 different ways that people can do PvP right now. Right. So we've got Wisdom Labs coming. So that's a 4th. Who knows what comes in the future?
That's right.
I mean, in reality, there's only so many base layers to these characters. You get the base model, then you've got the 12 different classes. All right, cool. They all basically look the same. The armor is the same, just color differences and male female versions. So you're not even talking about that many initial possibilities that you would have to create on like a 3D model, that now all of a sudden all you can pick your favorite hero and rock it in VR as your PFP, right? As your avatar. So I mean, there's so much that can be done, that will be done, that we're not even thinking of right now, because
I know.
it's like trying to explain to somebody what mobile gaming is like in the 90s before computers were even big, right? Like that, back when they were saying email. What do we need email for? I can just mail somebody a letter. That's stupid. We don't need that email stuff. Computers? What? They could have burned down your house with that thing. That's a business thing. I have no idea where this stuff's going, but
Hey,
there's so
yeah.
much
And
possibility.
so we're going to go then from ETH Denver. I'm going, Raf's going, maybe a few others. Raf with Adventures in DFK, going to see Workhorse, baby, my man, Pervy Sage, the anomaly in Minneapolis, Minnesota. And some of the team's going to be there.
I definitely
Lots
want to
going
go there.
on.
Is
Like
that like
straight
open
from
thing?
Denver, I'm flying to Minneapolis.
Is that an open invite thing?
I think so. Yeah.
I would definitely like to go to that. I'll be
Oh,
driving
baby.
from Denver. So if people want to change a ticket, instead of flying out of Denver, push it back 2 or 3 days and fly out of Minneapolis, I got a bunch of seats. We can definitely roll.
Oh man. See, I've booked my flight already, but I haven't booked a flight home yet.
There you go.
So you're driving?
Yeah, I'm driving.
Okay. That's it. I mean, we're carpooling home because Raf is literally leaving the next day. He's only staying one night. I was surprised, I think.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I'm actually Googling how long it's going to be of a drive.
Oh, here he is, fistful of dollars. Is this the man himself? Is that him? Is that Workhorse, my man?
He's undoxed. Oh, that's only a
I'm
13 and a half hour drive, bro. Yeah,
What's
that's
that?
definitely doable.
Oh man. Okay, yeah, it would be nice to get DFK up on these. Okay, I love it. So, all right, so gamification speculation. Tell us what you mean by that. We'll talk about it.
It's kind of what we just talked about like the past 20 minutes.
Oh yeah.
So I mean, you have all these projects where
Right?
you go in, and I think a lot of people come into the project not really understanding what they're doing, because they're not like a previous registered investor, to where they understand that like you invest in a business, and when you invest in a business, you're not going to see a return on that for probably 2 to 3 years, if not more, if you ever see a return. And that's what investing typically has been like in VC type environment, which is exactly what has been opened up to all of us now, right?
Yeah.
So people are jumping into these projects with the wrong expectations. They've heard stories of people getting rich overnight and think that they can do it too. So they jump in and they get frustrated when it doesn't happen. And then the market goes down, because markets work in cycles, and they go down, and it just happens. And people get frustrated and burnt out, and they make those temporary losses real by cashing out. And that's their biggest mistake.
Yeah.
And now on the flip side, like you were saying the other night, things sometimes go to zero. So getting out while you still have something and preserving some capital is not always a mistake.
Right. And it's all based around the team and the project and where it's going and the upside. And in this case, with this project, more upside than anything I've ever seen in crypto. Baby.
There's
like
definitely a ton of potential in the project. That's for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, the team, just the way the team communicates is unlike any other that I've seen. Undead Blocks has a great community also. But I still think it's not as many. It's not like the developer type community. It's not as complete, right? It's a bunch of gamers that love playing Undead Blocks. They love that first person shooter genre. But with DeFi Kingdoms, it's more, it's a broader scope, right? I mean, you've got people that enjoy the strategy gaming, people that are buying heroes and breeding heroes and getting pets that are speculating entirely on PvP, that those are going to help them out and give them advantage when they don't know, right? So they're speculating. There's so many different ways that we can speculate. And in a way, like, that's the developer's game. That's the game they play. And that's why we know this game's not going away, right? And that's another huge thing that I love about the team. They're doing this out of passion. This is a passion project for the vast majority of the team, not just 1 or 2 people, but several of them.
Right.
They made enough money and they're good to go, right? I mean, a lot of them made money in the initial days of DeFi
Uh-huh.
Kingdoms. A lot of them didn't. They thought it was going to go up into the right forever.
Mm-hmm.
That doesn't happen.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and we've all got to protect our capital, especially like, I mean, if you're depending upon this in the short term, if you're older and looking to retire in the next couple of years, be careful because the market is very volatile right now. I like what we saw today, but that very well, if you look back historically, after a market low, it usually does one of two things: either a slow um, build up and then turns into a bear trap with a giant knockdown almost back to the low, and then the bull market truly starts, or you see like a big spike shortly afterwards, and then it just slowly fades off down back almost to the bottom, and then you see that final capitulation, and then the spike starts. So, I mean, right now we saw a pretty aggressive spike shortly after. I would say we're probably falling into that category. I'm
Yeah,
expecting us maybe go up to like 25, 30. We already went up to 25 today,
yeah.
but maybe as much as 30. And then I see us dropping off for a couple months and going down.
Uh-huh.
And I
Yeah.
know people are getting distressed because they see me selling, and I really wish I didn't have to. I was trying to get in on some stuff where I was making other income so I could sell less of it, because really I don't want to be selling what I'm selling in the DeFi Kingdom stuff. I mean, if you look at my activity, I've got my game accounts, and then the stuff that my locked jewel that is in a completely separate account, and that is actually like attached to my business. So it all kind of comes off and goes there, preserving capital for now. And then I've got my game account where I've got like 20 some odd Gen Zero heroes,
Yeah.
several thousand jewels, several thousand jade and crystal. Like, that's where I'm playing the game, and I'm loving summoning constantly. And I
Yeah.
can't wait for the day where I don't have to sell as much of the jewel to pay the bills. But right now, I've got some significant bills, and I got to get paid.
There's nothing wrong with that. So
It sucks though, right? Because the
right.
community voted me to get that back, and now all I'm doing is selling all of it. And right now, when we're at the bottom of the market, when everybody's like depressed, that's the last thing they need to be seeing is me dumping all my tokens, thinking to themselves that I've lost hope too, because that is not the case. I am doing it out of pure need, and I don't want to be doing it, and I don't plan on doing it.
You know, one odd thing, the markets have changed so much because of leverage trading. And so now it's like up is down and down is up. So like so many of these pumps have resulted in shorts getting liquidated. Okay, when the sky was falling and we knew there's been some heavy sell pressure. And so tons of people shorted on leverage, which then actually created a reverse effect once it starts pumping. So again, we've had it was over $1 billion of Bitcoin shorts here over the last couple of days. And then I just noticed, man, I didn't realize it's crashed right on back down to 23.5. So it went over 25 today a couple times, and then now boom, 23.5. I bet that was people starting to long the market. And then the longs so that's what happened last time. That's why we didn't hit the $100,000 Bitcoin and everything, was all the longs continuously being liquidated to the tunes of billions of dollars. Okay, that then crashes the market when everything was so bullish. And so it's just so weird and interesting to see. But if anyone's who's new to this project, DeFi Kingdoms, one of the best teams I've ever seen in crypto. So I went on a journey, okay, since 2017. I first got into crypto in 2015. Since 2017, I went on a journey to try and find that awesome crypto project out there with an awesome team, with the right core values in the team, who's grinding, developing, looking out for the best interests of others over their own selves, where they're not looking at the 5 minutes in front of their face trying to make a quick buck, but actually trying to be servants to the community, being transparent, and then also having good tokenomics. And with all of those things, awesome development, awesome partners, and then the team is like the dream team of all crypto dream teams, where you have all these big brain dudes developing this phenomenal ecosystem. And you're in when this is just an eensy-deensy, like just stupidly low micro cap coin because of some crazy stuff that's happened in the past. against and everything. But the team has managed to come through fire.
I think that goes back to what we were talking about earlier. A lot of people investing in stuff, they don't really even understand what it is they're investing in.
Yeah,
I mean, the market crashed, and then there was FUD, and that FUD was honestly just some people that were upset trying to lash out in big part. But in reality, if this was a traditional brick and mortar business, like the information that was thrown out there as FUD that we all got upset about, it would have never been public, y'all. Like that happens in businesses every day, and far worse than that. I mean, heck, look at FTX, look at some of these other businesses. And it really wasn't a big deal. It was just somebody trying to throw shade because they were mad and they were trying to cause a ruckus, basically.
Yeah, man. So,
and I appreciate everybody's support in the chat. I've been reading it. I know I haven't really responded. We were talking, but yeah, no, it's amazing. Appreciate y'all.
Brown Gent's in here talking about the markets because he understands the stock market really well, different things.
Heck yeah.
Yeah. Wow. Okay. Yeah, nothing wrong with selling. Do your thing. We got along. Yeah, and we know that your Ogre is team DeFi Kingdoms.
I'm definitely team DeFi Kingdoms. I'm out there. I mean, I am not the type of community member that's going to sit in the community and hang out with the one community all the time. I've got ADD. I can't do that. Like I bop around from community to community, and then I bring all those communities together. That's what I have to do.
That's right, man.
It's that cross-pollinization. I mean, as much as I love all the people in DeFi Kingdoms, like heck, this whole gaming thing that I'm doing now, I'm like streaming, not really streaming, but jumping in a live Call of Duty in a Discord server, and we do it like every night for a few hours, and it's like I can only do that for a few days. I need like some time out, right? Like I love the gaming, but it's like I need to go do something different. It's just ADD. It's the way I'm built, man. Like I don't know why. It's weird, but it is what it is.
Hey, that's a strength. You just got to run with it.
It's like in Fight Club. Yeah. I'm great 15-minute friends.
Yep.
And then I got my old school.
It's a strength and weakness. Right? All of our strengths are also weaknesses. On the other hand, like in one hand, it's a strength. The other hand, it's a weakness. And then just acknowledging that and doing you is important.
Yep.
And so I love it. So anyone, again, new to this game, you're basically coming into a tiny, dinky little microcap coin that has one of the best teams on earth in crypto. And so it's like the most ideal situation to come into when it comes to looking out there in the crypto sphere and trying to find those awesome projects with huge upside. The tokenomics of Jewel, all kinds of awesome things going on with this team. It was a really good AMA today, even though there wasn't a whole lot of like new alpha being dropped, but you just see it. They're just grinding their way right on through the hell that they've been through, right on through the bear market.
Yep.
And it was good to hear, we've noticed a little bit like Avalanche put out that awesome video on DeFi Kingdoms. I don't know if you guys saw it.
I missed that
on Twitter.
No, I missed it.
And the dude tweeted it, and it was like 10,000 follower guy.
Nice.
Something like that. Just an awesome video on Avalanche. They were talking about how DeFi Kingdoms is, partnering, developing more partnerships, different things going on out there.
Heck yeah.
So that's the number one thing we need the most is to grow the ecosystem, to bring on new players, to just for them to be aware, have awareness of what's even going on. And because it takes time, generally speaking, for someone to actually jump into the game and actually be into the game, actually putting money into the game and actually doing it and actually getting into liquidity pools and actually buying heroes. Okay, that takes time to get them to that point. It took me. Now, I know some people just heard it like once and then jumped in, but it took me hearing it like 50 times. I heard it from Drake on Digital. I kept hearing it. And then George and all these different people started talking about it. I was like, finally, it's like, okay, damn, I got to get in and check out what's going on in DeFi Kingdoms. And that's normally how it works with most people, especially people that have been in crypto for a while.
Yep.
You start seeing a trend and you start seeing, okay, where's the real development happening? Where's the real developers developing? Where's the real good stuff? They have their eyes peeled and their radar up, skeptical too of projects. They'll look into stuff and not be sure about different things. But as you keep planting the seeds, planting the seeds, grinding in the same way the developers are grinding away, developing the game, it's the exact same way it's got to be for spreading the word of DeFi Kingdoms. Yep. Because there's a lot of people who think that it will just go up when the bull run comes. This idea.
We need a way to like esports out all of these projects. Like find a few fun games to where each of these projects forms an esports team and competes against each other in fun. You know what I mean? Like we got a DFK team and we're competing against a Splinterlands team, against an Illuvium team, against an Undead Blocks team. Like we've got all these other games out there that have their own communities, their own guild systems and clans within them, right? Just like DFK does. We need to start like working, in my opinion, I think it'd be very helpful for like the grassroots movement if we could like start connecting those guilds to like have like a guild of guilds for each game, to where each week like we have a competition, or maybe it's once a month and it's like 5 different games. Like we've got a strategy game, a first person shooter game, an RPG game, and like just have a few different games to attract the different types of people. And you've got to like even out the playing field, right? So that way, if like a person from Splinterlands has an even chance of winning against somebody from Undead Blocks, because the competition isn't just a bunch of first person shooters, you know what I mean? Where Undead Blocks people would be better at that than DFK or Splinterlands people. So you got to have a few different games there. I mean, there's a lot of cool stuff we could do.
And that's your jig, man. That's like your strength, bringing together those things, connecting. How's Splinterlands doing these days?
It's doing all right. I have not been as active over there, honestly. I was very active in the early days, but then it's like I've got a nice little deck of cards over there. I should be keeping up with it and buying them more of the booster packs, but I really haven't been. I've moved on to other projects.
Okay. Yeah, I met them in Miami. Like Miami was just so awesome. Planting those seeds, man. Getting,
Yeah. See, with them, I was in back when it was still Steam. And then there was the whole debacle with Steam where Justin Sun basically bought it from the CEO who wasn't supposed to be CEO, who wasn't supposed to have the tokens to sell. So they like basically said, fuck you, and split off and created the Hive blockchain. All the validators kind of teamed together and did that. And I wasn't sure what the move was right then, because at the time I was still playing with Tron and saw like a future in Tron. Like I saw that it had a lot of potential. The Justin Sun, while he may have been like kind of a douchebag, he was a marketing genius, and he was building a whole bunch of different things that were going to work symbiotically in the future to create a good like network of services. And so I wasn't sure if it was a smart move for them to go, because basically it was just the game. And I don't like the way some of them did it, because they got very toxic, and I didn't like that aspect. So that's kind of when I backed off of Splinterlands a little bit and was like, all right, well, it'll do what it's going to do. It just gives me time to focus on something else. And that was actually about the time I left Tron too and found Harmony back in the day.
Okay. I made a killing on Tron in the last bull run. And just some weird things with Justin Sun, right? But guess what? I just
ambassador for Grenada now. Like what? To the UN.
So crazy. He's all over the place. But guess what I found out in Latino America, that Tron's like the #1 blockchain. It's actual. So Tron in one of the countries, like Argentina or something.
Interesting.
Tron is legal tender. Did you know that? And also,
I didn't know in South America. I knew like Southeast Asia, it had like a decent amount of use. Just like Litecoin globally has a decent amount of use. There's pockets, right? Of adoption all over the world for different cryptocurrencies.
This is what blew my mind the most. Like right now, to this day, 50% of all Tether USDT is on the Tron network.
Really?
Did you know that? Like,
No, I thought it was way less than that because I thought Sam Bankman-Fried had like 80% of it.
no, but he was more of a USDC guy, right? He's in bed. So all this nonsense going on with BUSD, like did you hear what came out on that with BUSD? So
I did not, but in my mind, it's all just a bunch of saber. It's basically US versus China, and we're seeing it play out in cryptocurrency. That's
yeah,
what's going on with Binance right now.
well, and
It's politics.
BUSD is American Paxos, so they could go after
It's
BUSD.
American based because it's out of Paxos, but it's also like it's Binance US dollar, right? I mean, it's I could see them. I can see USDC, like the whole reason they're getting looked at right now is because they want to shut off BUSD, and they'll end up kind of separating that out, and USDC will become basically the very quiet CBDC for the
Right.
US
And
that's not
it's
official, but they have all the controls they want as it is. Like they can just seize your CBDC or freeze you out if it's on Ethereum network. They can just stop you from transferring it,
yeah,
and they can stop you from like getting it out of cryptocurrency. So yeah, I mean the controls are quietly being put into place, I think,
yep,
which sucks, but it's also a good thing because it legitimizes it and it brings a whole other wave of people in to include those big old institutional investors that are going to change the world.
yeah. So with BUSD, uh, what's the Coinbase guy's name? Brian
Brian Armstrong.
Brian Armstrong. Brian Armstrong. He's the one that like threw them under the bus. Did you know that?
I don't think it was so much him as it was Kevin O'Leary.
Well, yeah, Kevin O'Leary has, but he's the one that actually brought before the SEC the Binance BUSD, and because he's tied in with Circle. Circle is behind USDC, and
And BUSD.
Circle's not behind
Well,
BUSD.
Paxos is behind Circle, are they not? Like they're
No,
both connected, I thought.
no. They're like not at all. So Circle, okay, there's a really good Coin Bureau video that everybody needs to watch on USDC.
Guys,
The US, here's some misnomers on USDC. USDC is only backed 20% by 1-to-1 the dollar. The rest of the other 80% is backed by the same crap government, worthless government bonds. Okay, so all the accusations that Tether gets, that USDC is not really any better. Whereas BUSD is over 95% backed 1-to-1 by the dollar, and then it's almost like 2-to-1 backed with all the other assets. So crazy corruption to the core. Yeah, guys like Kevin O'Leary, they're all in bed with Circle USDC.
Oh yeah, Kevin's a joke, man. Like
Oh
that dude.
really
It's funny because watching him on videos now, like it just all I see is a spiteful man. He's just angry and mad and trying to lash out in an almost childlike fashion. It's kind of amusing to me. Yeah, Tron was a big gambling chain, which is part of the reason I got out of there. It wasn't when I first got on there. I got on there like back in 2018? Yeah, it was 2018 because I went to Nitron in January of 2019. So I found Tron in 2018.
Yeah.
There was a bunch
they announced
also like legitimate games and stuff being built. One of which I'm still stuck in. Oh, gosh.
Yeah. I did chat with Sandwich Punch.
He's
going through something, man. I just chatted with him today, or this morning, or last night, one of the two. And yeah, I'm trying to get him to come on the channel, just checking in on him. Hope he's doing okay. I think he's going through a really rough time. Not exactly sure what's going on, but let's keep our thoughts and prayers out to Sandwich Punch.
Miss you, bro.
Yeah, man. Really miss you, Sandwich Punch. Hope he's okay. So, AMA. One thing Brown Gent just said they announced that. I'm trying to see what
did they announce? I completely missed the AMA. I was busy.
Oh, really?
Today. Yeah, I'm bitter about that.
Okay, lots of good stuff in the AMA. They talked about some of the marketing thing, like some of the partnerships, like with Avalanche. I think with Clayton, they got stuff going. And there are several things they said we just can't announce it yet. That's coming down through the pipeline as far as on on like a marketing front. So they talked about that. And
well, I mean, yes and no, because in a marketing front with real businesses, it's a very long process, right? Because they come out with the legal thing, okay, yes, we're going to partner up, we're going to have a launch date on this date, we can't leak it before that, or there are ramifications, there's NDAs involved, there's all sorts of stuff, and then the marketing happens when it launches. So
yeah, right, there's a lot of things I think coming down the pipeline on all kinds of fronts. They also talked about, so Dreamer talked about nothing specific he could announce yet, but he keeps seemingly inching his way closer. He said maybe even as soon as next week, like in the next week or two, they might be announcing, some big exchange listing for Jewel, baby. That will be huge. That's a biggie for exposure to the project.
Yeah,
like that's almost just a 101 gotta happen exposure type thing. And just think, like once Jewel, it'll just be so nice to be able to send Jewel directly from DFK chain into an exchange to cash out or whatever. It just opens up the blockchain of DFK chain, like maybe USDC on the DFK chain and the other assets possibly too.
Right. Right now, when I want to get stuff out, like it's hard. Right. Like I bridge it all, I turn it all into Jewel, then I send it over to Serendale. Then from there, I turn it to Clayton and then send the Clayton to the exchange.
Oh, that's how you do it.
That's the easiest way I've found is.
Well, okay. Yeah. Because some of those fees get you so I'll check, but probably if you're on the DFK chain, you can send, if you have the Jewel, you do have to sell the Jewel into USDC. Then you can bridge the USDC to the Binance Smart Chain, and it will convert. You can bridge it either into USDC or BUSD. Then you can send the USDC or the BUSD from the Binance Smart Chain to several different exchanges.
Gotcha.
Like Binance.us is what I pretty much only use now at this point.
But cool. I'm glad we're going different ways.
Yeah. But then also, other ways, sometimes it's not a bad move to bridge your Bitcoin or your Ethereum through orbits, but then now you're on the Ethereum blockchain and then send it from the Ethereum.
I will skip
ETH anywhere.
I will skip the ETH blockchain for trying to. You talk about fees. I mean, don't get me wrong. I play with ETH. There's some stuff I do on ETH, but I don't do that in like a 5-step process trying to get my stuff off of one chain when there's other ways to do it. I'm going to skip that one.
Right. But the fees to do that isn't too bad. It's like $2 or $3 now, like when the blockchain is more congested because of this big airdrop that happened, I noticed it's way more congested. So the ETH fees are up a little bit right now, but it was
good for ETH because more ETH is being burned.
Yeah. So we're up to 25,000 or 27,000 ETH burned.
Just this year?
Gosh, I forgot the timetable, but that
sounds short. I want to say
millions and millions of dollars worth of ETH.
Oh,
it's a lot of ETH being burned. Okay. Raffled as part of duels. Yep.
Yeah, that was awesome. Yeah, I love that about the teams, where they just give everything away at this point.
I know it, man.
They're playing the game and they're not making money off the game. They're building it, they're playing it, and they're giving it away. Like,
I know it, right?
What is better than that?
I know. The team is just the dream team of dream teams. Right. So many good things going on. There were some people complaining today also in the AMA about, and I had some like in-depth talks with a few different people. I guess on the duels, there is an API issue or a UI issue that wasn't reflecting, like on Serendale, the duels, it said we're still going for another 2 weeks, but they addressed that on the previous AMAs a couple times. But the UI never got updated. And so some people thought that the season was going to keep going, and then it ended, and it hurt them as far as potential rewards and money made and different things. And they're, they were upset with the team.
Hey, congrats, Brown Gent.
Yeah, baby.
I
I love
actually
it.
have a
It's
couple
gaming.
archers. 709 needs a good pair, and so does 1845, I think.
Yeah.
Both are archers looking for a good thief. Just saying.
Yes. So I've made some phenomenal pairs. So I've got some okay pairs, but I've got a lot of Gen Zeros paired up well, but I still have a few that aren't paired that I either need that I want to sell to pair up another one or something.
Yeah, I want to sell, not sell, I want to trade. I've been doing a few trades. It's mostly been people coming to me trying to link up their pairs, but I've been making sure, like, if we do a trade like that, like, I'm getting something that matches my pairs also. Like, yeah, I'll give you one up to help you match yours up, but don't leave me in the hole. Help me out.
Yeah. So did you say you have a thief or an archer that you
I
need
have
here?
2 archers and a thief. 709 is my mythic archer, Gen 0, and then I think it's 1845 is a legendary archer, Gen 0.
Or 1845 or 1804?
Not 1804. I think it's 1845. Hold on.
Okay.
Let me pull it up. Oh, look at that. I already got my Gen 0 selected. Let me get archers.
Yeah. So I need you to send me your address.
1845. Oh, okay. And yeah, those are Gen later. Yeah, 1845 and 709.
1845, 709. Okay. Yeah. So we need to. Okay. I'm so very on the fence dropping in more dollars. Ooh, Rested Trust.
You are definitely talking to the wrong people because I am not going to try to talk you out of dumping more money into DeFi Kingdoms, bro. I try not to chill. I try just to chill. But a question like that makes me want to chill, or a statement like that makes me want to be like, bro, bottom of the market. Like, it's going to start going up over the next several years as long as the game keeps going, right?
Yeah, as
all
long
crypto is going to go up as Bitcoin goes up.
Right.
So you find a good game, a good layer 2 project. In my mind, it's like doubling down in blackjack. So you see, oh yeah, I just got that ace. Hell yeah, I'm going to double down. So now I'm playing 2 hands, and hopefully one of them is going to be a face card or a 10, so that I hit jackpot, right? I mean, you're number one looking at the layer 1 because there's a way to invest there and speculate there. But then you go to a layer 2 on top of that, and it's like, if that layer 1 goes up, the 2 doesn't usually sell out into it. Some it will, but it usually just goes up with it. Especially when a project's at this point where you have mostly the holders and the gamers, right? It's not like we have a bunch of paper hands left in DeFi Kingdoms right now that they've gone. They have turned their temporary losses into permanent ones and are out there talking smack about us. It's just the way it works.
I'm not sure. I think there might be more paper hands in the ecosystem than you realize.
You think so?
Like, I talked to a bunch of them today that are almost just like fed up with the team. And
so there's a lot of, okay. There are more people that are getting fed up. That's a fair point.
Yeah. And so I think there isn't a level of risk there that if we don't grow the ecosystem. I was chatting with Effects about this. He said I give it a year before the ecosystem just completely in-game ecosystem breaks down, because there's
have that much time though.
There's a lot of people in the ecosystem that lost a lot of money that's hung in there. And
true story.
As soon as stuff pumps, there's going to be a lot of selling, I think, potentially. So it is a risk.
I can see that. Yeah.
I think we're going to break through and be able to create adoption over this next several months.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's coming.
I do too.
Adoption coming into the game.
Well, we'll see more. I don't think we'll see true, like, 97%. Like, when you had internet adoption, it was when 97% of American households had a computer in the house, something like that, or maybe it was 2/3. It was 78%. I don't know, but like, I don't think we're gonna hit that threshold. But we're definitely gonna see a lot more people coming in.
Yeah, and I think there'll be a lot of people that used to be in the project realize everything that's gone on, realize and make sense of it, and then realize the team doing awesome, just grinding, and the awesome partnerships and workhorse. All the awesome.
A lot of it's going to come down to workhorse and wisdom and their PvP. Honestly, I don't think it should. I don't think it's the right answer, because I think there's still a lot of opportunities out there. Like PvE could be awesome, and create more opportunity. And there will be quite possibly future forms of PvE or PvP later. I mean, if the team's not going to quit, they're going to keep building. It's going to get better over time. And you get some active community members like Workhorse, who says, you know what, I'm in this game. I like this game. I have the ability to do something cool. So I'm going to team up with them and build PvP. Like, you could do that. I could do that. Anyone out there listening to this could do that.
I mean, Fight Club, baby. It's already going, which, by the way,
right?
That's where you can get lots of raffle tickets, baby. They talked about this last night. Raffle tickets, Fight Club. You now have an option to pay 110 crystal option. And if you win, you get 9,000 raffle tickets. And pretty much, I actually lost once. I basically won like hundreds of times in a row.
Oh my gosh.
I always win. I always win.
What are you using?
It's just like I can do it in my sleep. Well, then I lost one like crazy, came down like, what the hell? You know, and then my ELOs, because I'm like winning the contest, because he's actually got an extra giveaway for raffle tickets if you're doing the Fight Club in the light heavyweight. You want to do it in the light heavyweight right now.
Yep.
And this first week is just about over, but maybe another day. Easy. I could go in and be number 2 like in a matter of a couple hours. I know AP's in there doing it. Okay. But then after this first weekend's, then there's even a bigger contest for the next week, starting next week.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a great way to do it. And so I either do 110 crystal buy-in, because that's how you essentially what Effects was saying, that if you do duels, you're essentially able to get just as many, if not more, raffle tickets in Fight Club than with duels now, because of that 110 threshold price. I either do that or I do 1.1 crystal.
Yeah,
to just raise my ELO score or whatever.
When I've played it, I've either done the max or the minimum. I don't think they had the 110 at that point. It was like 45 or something like that. But yeah. Mm-hmm. But hey, 5-minute heads up. I do have to jump off and cook.
And I've got to go get my kids too. And I'm also, so tonight I'm going on another guy's YouTube channel. Here, I'll share my screen real quick. Present, share screen. And this guy, okay.
Hey, Maddie, who are you on to trade with 209? Oh, yeah.
I kept meaning to mention.
That's for my 709? I can get rid of my mythic Gen Zeros. Those things, that's like worth a mythic Gen Zero in my mind is probably worth way more than it's worth, because I'd want to see like 2 rares or like a legendary and a rare for that. So probably not worth it. But it's just everybody values their own stuff higher.
Yeah. So I definitely want you to send me your addresses where you have your Gen Zeros and see if any of ours pair up. For sure. Okay. Trying to figure out how to get some more in the gardens, but when I put new funds in the game, I end up buying and summoning heroes. I know it's hard not to buy. We keep seeing all these deals on these heroes. It's hard, but then we, over a longer period of time, I was buying legendary, sages and dragoons for less than 2,000 crystal. I couldn't believe it. Wow. Just recently here. Okay. So in a little bit here at 9 p.m. Central Time, I'm getting on this guy's channel, and he sent me all this lawyer drawn up paperwork, stuff to fill out to be on his channel.
That's insane.
So, but this guy isn't necessarily a DeFi Kingdoms guy.
Right. Is that George guy you're all yammering on about?
George, I am George?
I don't know. Is that who you're talking about? Is that this guy?
No. George, I am George is Cryptos Are Us, one of the largest channels on YouTube for crypto, who gets 60, 70, 80,000 views every single video he does twice a day.
Dude, you do that in an hour. Why is that so cool?
And who, by the way, gave 2 shout outs this week in passing, little minor shout outs to DeFi Kingdoms this week.
That's why we need these trainer videos, a basic like an intro set of videos that people can watch and ingest in small chunks, not a 4-hour video, because you wouldn't even be able to begin to start teaching somebody in 4 hours anyways, right?
Right. And I was doing that. I had my 1 of 10.
Yeah, no, we need like a 20-minute. This is why I love and believe in DeFi Kingdoms.
Yep.
Then we need like a 20-minute. This is the graphical user interface on Crystalvale or Serendale. Pick one, go into it, and just be like, all right, this is all of this. This is land. This is that. And now a bunch of 2-minute videos, like on each of the different things you can click on, right? 2 to 5 minutes on the jeweler, a 2 to 5 minute video on the castle, a 2 to 5 minute video on the gardens.
Yes.
And you go through each one of those. And then you have like a 20-minute video on summoning, a 20-minute video on questing, a 20-minute video on speculating with PvP and some of the cool stuff that Wowie's putting out and what we think that is going to be. Like, if we start doing that and coming up with small consumable content that's more focused, it is planned, right? It's obviously, it doesn't necessarily have to be like professionally cut and spliced together, but at least planned with an agenda and a time frame, so that we're not like rambling about one topic for 25 minutes, realizing we have 2 more topics and we just blew our time frame by 5 minutes. You know what I mean? Like, we got
like a pre-recorded video. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. And it doesn't have to be pre-recorded, right? It could just be, I mean, you could do it live. Be like, all right, this is the idea I have for a pre-recorded. These are the 3 topics I want to hit. These are the 4 subtopics, and just do it live. It doesn't have to be pre-recorded. It could be.
That's true.
But I don't know. I know
I'll definitely be doing
do this, and I'd be happy to sit down with somebody and help design the courseware. I'm more of the think tank guy than I am the make it happen guy right now. Just being real.
Yeah.
But I can help you come up with some great ideas, and I can help you flesh out and design classes in a logical way. I'm typically, one of my superpowers back in the day when I was training people was being able to explain things in a very good way, that I could break it down on a level to where people were able to consume the content and understand it better. It's out there. I'm happy to help.
I think it's in the works. I think a lot of people are working on that. And but yeah, just breaking down the game step by step.
We need it like within the next 2 weeks. At least some of it. Like, we've got to have some for ETH Denver. ETH Denver's a big deal. In my mind, it's a big event.
But that's a seed planting. That'll be a seed planting.
Right. But when we plant those seeds and pour a little water, we want them to go to the website and learn a few things and be confident that this is something they can do, not get scared away because it's too complex and it scares them.
Sure.
So we have to break it down and make it super simple.
Right. Because from a big picture standpoint, it's not that complicated right now.
Mm-hmm.
You know, there's even people tonight complaining on my stream that it's boring. You know, there's nothing to do. And, you know, it's like, are you nuts?
It's not a game, is what I keep getting from games. Like the people that I know that are like all about first-person shooters or that are playing RPGs. It's like, but DeFi Kingdoms isn't a game. And it's, the graphics aren't there. It's not a fast-paced first-person shooter, but there is a game there. The game is the speculation, right?
Oh my God.
Trying to figure out what's going to be better than the other. Like that, in my mind, that is a game. They created such a complex ecosystem that is a game in and of itself. And I love what Maddie Pesk was talking about the other night. I don't know if it was yours. I think you gave credit to somebody else, but the $100 competition going on right now for all the creators to like, you have $100. What do you do with it in a month, and how much did you make, or a week? I think it was, however long they decided to go for.
Right.
But I think that's a great idea, and we should definitely capitalize on those videos and put those out there and be like, all right, well, this is what somebody did to take $100 and they turned it into $150 in a month, or this person turned $100 into $50 in a week. Don't do this. Or here's this person managed to take this $100 and turn it into $1,200 in 4 months. You know what I mean? Like, there's definitely ways it can be done.
That's right. That
would be cool, fistful of dollars. But on that note, y'all, I love you. I definitely want to do this more often. Grady, now that you're back, let's get back into doing this every week.
Every Thursday, 6 p.m. Central Standard Time.
Hells yes. And with that, I'm going to go feed my kids. Appreciate y'all.
Hey, man. I love you guys. Crypto Grady and Ogre out. I'll be back on tonight on this C3 Media. Be sure to come, love on the guy, like his channel, get some more people in the game potentially.
Yeah.
Love you guys. See
Love
you
you
guys.
guys.